So once you have made yourself an account, you have downloaded the game, you've installed the game, you have logged into the launcher and launched the game, this is the first screen you're going to find right here, and this is your module selection. Now there is 3 modules to choose from here. Arena Commander is just straight dogfighting, racing, playing with the ships. Star Marine is like a first-person shooting action, so just playing and practicing your FPS. But if you want to explore the expo, if you want to play the game Star Citizen, what you want is to be part of the Persistent Universe. Now the Persistent Universe has changed with the latest update, that now you have to choose a primary residence. You can see it says here in the bottom right here, choose your primary residence. That's your starting location. All your ships will be there, any gear that you have will be there, and any gear you buy at another location will stay at that location. With the new inventory system, moving things from one place to another has become a lot more involved, and your primary residence is where all your ships will be when you start and where all your gear will be when you start. So we're going to select Persistent Universe, and you'll be brought to the character creation screen where you choose starting gender, you can say begin blending, and then you can start choosing different characters. And with these characters, if you're applying the skin, you can change them. If you're doing this, you can kind of go between these characters to change. You could just choose parts of the brow and cycle through your options and change them. Make your character look however you want. Put crazy hair on your character, whatever you would like to do. Now, don't worry too much about this. First of all, you can change this whenever you like. Right now, it's not locked into place. You're not making a character that you have to stay with. Secondly, if this is your first time playing in the game and you're taking part of the Free Fly event, then this isn't going to really matter, because when you buy a game account, you can restart your account and you can choose and design a new character there. But you can always change your character. So we'll save this right now. But if we go to character customization down here, you can always go back and change how it looks. Now this is where you're selecting primary residence up here. Selecting the system. Currently only have the Stanton system. Eventually there's going to be other star systems. There's going to be Pyro, there's going to be Nyx, going to be the Orion system. There's going to be a bunch of starting locations. But right now we have Stanton system. This is the only system. It's all the planets and all the moons are in this one system. All the cities, all the small areas you're going to be visiting, all the caves, they're all in the Stanton system. But you have starting locations. We have New Babbage. Now if you've actually, we'll start at the top here. We have Orison. Orison is the gas giant. So Orison is where you're going to the planet Crusader. And on planet Crusader, you're sitting in a gas giant here. You can't really explore the planet's surface. And currently right now, Orison is the only location. It is beautiful, and I highly recommend checking it out. But I do not recommend your primary residence starting here, because it's such a big place that's all spread out, with a huge atmosphere that takes a longer time to fly out of to get out of the system. If you are at Orison, fly up to Port Olisar, go to that station, and set a spawn point there so that you can then leave from that station. Currently, any inventory you have is also shared with the station above, and I think that has something to do with the hospitals, how some have hospitals, some only have clinics on the stations at the moment. So I'm sure that's going to eventually change. But Orison, really cool to visit. This is one of the space whales that are going to be in the game. This is like a statue of one that you can visit there. Definitely go check this out. I do not recommend this as a starting location. We have Loreville. Now this is a cool starting location. Very easy to find and land at Loreville. Fairly easy to find your way around. Not too bad. If you've ever watched any of my tutorial series, I started doing one where I started here at Loreville, and I think on my next one with the next patch, I'm going to be starting here at Loreville also, and then you can go to Everest Harbor that's above. So this is an alright one to start at. Area 18, if you're wanting to get to a spaceport quicker and you know how to find the spaceport, this is an alright place to start at. But I honestly find this spaceport harder to find when you are landing. I have, however, made tutorials to how to find the 4 major landing zones: Area 18, the Dunlow Airport in Orison, in Loreville, and at New Babbage. But if you're going to take part in the expo, New Babbage is the place you want to start. So you're going to Microtech and you're going to go to New Babbage. The reason why is this is the location of the expo. So as a new player, you don't need to learn how to fly a ship just to get to the expo. You'll be able to go there and see it and then learn to fly a ship. And if you are having trouble learning how to fly a ship, you make a couple errors, you crash a couple ships, you're still at the expo. You're still able to get more ships, you're still able to look around, and it's a beautiful place and a relatively easy place to find the air, like the spaceport when you're landing, and a fairly easy one to take off and land at. So it's also got ground elevators close by, so easy to get ground vehicles and take them out for a ride also. So New Babbage is the place that I would recommend. So once you've done that, you go New Babbage, we go set as primary residence. You can choose if you want USA, European, Australian. I stay on best, and I'm going to go confirm. So the reason why I ask you confirm is because this is not something you'll easily be able to change later without doing a reset of your character. But for the free fly, if you're taking part, confirm that. So you are now, after a short loading time, in your hab. You can see I'm in the hab here. Now this is not your hab currently in the game. This is just like a little temporary apartment starting location for players. So once you leave this room, you're going to be stuck outside. You won't be able to get back in. So you can't leave anything in here, and you can't really do much in here. This isn't something that belongs to you currently. Think of it like a hotel room. So if you're in a space station, it's a little cubby, where if you're in a city, like New Babbage here, you are in a much larger place. Orison has a very beautiful hab. You can use your mouse and you can look around. Now, if you want to get out of bed, which is I'm sure the first thing you want to do, just tap Y. Tapping Y gets you out of bed. Movement, WSAD, you can hold shift to run a bit faster. If you want to walk faster or slower, you're going to use your mouse. So I'm going to mouse wheel all the way down, and now I'm pushing W, pressing W, and this is my walking speed. Where if I mouse wheel up, you'll notice my speed increases. If I want to increase my speed even more, holding shift and running is running. So very easy to move around. So tapping Y got me out of bed, but there are other ways to interact. Your main key, the key of Star Citizen to use for almost everything, is F. If I'm looking around, you can see I'm just looking, but if I hold F, now you can see my cursor. Now you can see me kind of looking around for things that are interactable. One interactable item is this bed. So when I mouse over the bed, it becomes interactable. Now, if I lay down again, so I just holding F and then left click to get on the bed. If I'm in bed, I could have also held down F, and there's a way to find it somewhere. There it is. I just didn't know where to look. Left click get up. So you can hold F if you're unsure what the key is to do something, and you can choose the action you want. It's much easier to tap Y. That's why it took me a while to figure out, because I can't remember the last time I ever used F to choose the get up option when I could just tap Y. If you are trying to get out of the ship pilot seat, hold Y, and that will get you out as well. So here's the hab. Not a lot of interactable stuff here right now, but you can open some things holding F, left click. You can just kind of look at them, see what's in them, which seems to be mostly empty. Later on, when you maybe have a hab in game, you'll be able to do things like store items here for use later. You can have some clothes here. You've got like a little rifle weapons rack here. Maybe you'll be able to prepare some food. It's going to be pretty cool to have your own place that you can kind of personalize and make your own thing. Just like the hangar module, when it's returned, you'll be able to kind of decorate that and make that. We have a little shower / bathroom here. So we can see in here we got like a little toilet, and we have like the shower head should be somewhere here. Comes out, I don't know where, but there's like a shower. So let me out. So this is the hab. Feel free to kind of get used to using the F key and the left click to get used to movement. And then once you're ready, come over to the door, hold F again, left click. We're going to open up, and we are now outside. It's nighttime now, so you don't get as good of a view, but you can see that little dot moving right through here. That is a tram. That is like a subway train that someone is taking to or from the space station, either coming from a ship or leaving. And we are in what's known as the nest. The nest is the apartments. And we're only on the first floor. Oh no, is that the 10th floor? 10th floor. I'm looking at it upside down. of the nest. I thought we were fairly high because here's the window here. So when we get out, I'll show you the exterior of that. So we're going to go over the elevator. Again, hold F and left click. And we are going to wait. And once we're inside, we're going to operate the elevator and get to the ground floor. So, heading inside. If I hold F and I scroll down, I can choose the floor. But the lobby is always showing up on this elevator. So just click on the lobby. And we're going to take our elevator to the lobby of the nest. And I don't know what side we'll be on, left or right. Looks like we're on the right side. So here is like the concierge area, a little waiting room. If you come out of those elevators, just head towards this door. And this is the hospital that is in the game for this location. So we want to go around underneath that. And this is where things are going to be a little bit different for anyone that's taking part in the expo. When you're coming down to the trams, this is the station here, it's going to look different. You're going to have spaceport and commons. You're going to see a little sign here, and that little sign is going to be saying expo. And follow that sign, and you're going to wait here. There'll be signs pointing you, and you're going to be arriving. There's a train here coming in 2 seconds. There it is. You can get on that. It's going to take you to the expo. So we are currently right here in Aspire Grand. We are currently there, and we're going to be taking a train. It'll come all around, and it'll go to the expo center, and if you stay on it, it'll go to the commons. If you stay on it, it's going to go all the way to the spaceport. However, if you take the wrong train and you go from here all the way to the spaceport, just wait, stay on the train. It'll eventually bring you back this way and eventually to the expo center. So either train will get you there, but this train will be much faster. Now, if you really have made a mistake, you were at the expo center and you want to go to the spaceport and you went the wrong way, you could always get off one train, run across, and get in the other one. So this one here is the one that's going in the opposite direction. This is going to the spaceport. It's arriving in 9 seconds, so we're just going to wait here, and once it arrives, we're going to get on and we're going to head to the spaceport. Now if it was daytime, you would get to see, we're crossing a large frozen lake, and you'd get to see the spaceport in the distance. You get to see the city retreat in the background. It's not going to be quite as nice at nighttime, but in the day it's beautiful and you get to see quite a bit. So we're just waiting for it to leave. There we go. Expect more people to be on here during the expo. A lot of traffic of people going to and from. So we're outside of the city now. The city's in the distance. So that building here, this was the nest. This is where we were. We were staying up in there, and we're heading across this lake. So you can see the flat expanse of the lake here, and we're heading to these red lights. That is the spaceport. So we're actually going to head to underneath the spaceport, leaving the city in the distance. If I go this way, you can like look at this. Isn't that beautiful? It's so amazing, just the detail of the different areas in this game. So here we are approaching the spaceport. None of the trams are long in this game. They're actually quite quick. So even if you miss one, it's never a big deal having to wait another minute to get to where you're going.
Nearing next stop.
So we are now underneath, coming to a stop. We'll come out. Exits always to the left here. So you can look at the signs. You can see that says Commons. This says the exit. And we are heading this way. And we're going to go... Oh, hello. So this person here is wearing the Bale fire armor. It's pretty cool. It's an armor that just arrived. We'll actually go in the same elevator. So they've hit the call here. We got 6 elevators here. So you can take any one of them, and they're going to bring you straight up. So on here, you would choose on here the top one, which is the NBIS, the Space Station Terminal. So talk about this armor real quick. So this armor, you can see the helmet and the chest piece. It's got this cloth cowl around it. It's got this backpack. Those are all separate pieces. If you take the armor off and on, that side piece there will be, the cowl will change. Since I'm talking, I'll kind of explain what happens. We've taken one of these elevators, we'll come up. Just come through here, and you can't get lost. Can't go this way. These doors don't work. You're coming through here. You'll see like a little customs area here, but you can't go through there. None of these doors currently go anywhere, so you can't really make a mistake and get lost. You're just going to follow as kind of a snaking trail. We're going to come up these stairs to this giant window. Again, if this was daytime, you would see the whole city there, but this is how far we've traveled. This is how far we've traveled, that if we look here, that's the nest. That's where we were moments ago, waking up in our habit. We've come down and we've traveled across. You can barely see them here, but there's a tram. You can see that light moving. That's one of the subway trams moving back towards the city. So we are now in the space station, and you can do a couple things in the space station. You can do some shopping. So you can buy something like, say, if you wanted this little like Pico toy here, just hold F and you can do a quick buy, or you can look at it with more info. If you don't know how much money you have, tap F1. Tap F1 will bring up your Moby Glass, at which point you can see your amount of money here, some stats here. We have other things here. We have the Vehicle Loadout Manager. That's where you can change things. So we have a ship. Let's take the Nomad, for instance. And if we wanted to change its weapons, if we wanted to change its systems, you can swap them out with other things you have. With the new inventory system, that's a little bit harder because you buy something, it's no longer global. So it's only for that location. So if I bought a new power supply at one location, I'd have to bring the ship there to swap it out. I'm not able to swap it pretty much anywhere in the system. Knickknacks is part of that new system as well. So if I was at more than one place, I've just started Microtech, so everything I have is in New Babbage and Microtech. You can see all the items that I have here. Whereas, check my armor, that's kind of cool. Where if I was at, say, Area 18 and, or I was in Loreville and I had some items that I bought there, more places would show up. So again, that's F1 to open up your Moby Glass. We have the Mode Trader, which is sending money. Missions are in the Contract Manager. Vehicle maintenance services is when you're on a landing pad in your vehicle and you need to buy fuel or reload weapons. We have the journal, so if you're ever kind of forgetting what's happened, or if you want to read some of the little guides, they're in the journal. And then Delphi is your reputation system. So I have no reputation here because I haven't done any jobs. However, if you start doing jobs, if you start doing bounty hunter work, your different reputation systems will all be here, and that will get you better contracts. So if I go back to contracts and say I want to do a mercenary job, bounty hunter job, investigation, cargo recovery, delivery. Delivery is a good starter job if you're just learning how to fly. Basically, you're going, picking up boxes and putting them somewhere else. If you want to try doing some combat, go to bounty hunter, and I would say any of this the certification ones. So tracker training permit certification is a pretty good starting one. Now this one actually costs you 500 UEC to get that, but it's really simple, just one quick fight, and then after that you're actually going to be able to start making money. So if you watch my series on starting from the bottom and working way up in the game, you can see that this is a fairly easy thing, and then you start earning money after that. So if you just want to earn, I would just go with delivery and learn how to fly. So tapping F1 opens and closes your Moby Glass. There's also the star chart. The shortcut for that is F2, so that's for navigation. I'll get into that when we go into flying. And if you want to do global chat, that's F11, and that's both with friends and with global chat. Now I don't have global chat in the corner. If I tap F12, you'll see it comes on and off. I turn it off right away when I'm recording. I don't tend to have it on there, but F12 is your global chat. So if you see a lot of text in the corner, you can hit enter, you can type, you can chat as well. Food and hunger are a thing in this game. Don't worry about it right now. If this is the first time playing, don't worry about having to worry about your food and hunger. That's not going to be that big of an issue. But we have different drinks here. We have different granola bars to eat over there. So different foods that you can actually have on your person, keep and hold, and drink and eat when you need. But this is the space station. This is where you get your ships and your ground vehicles. So ground vehicles, you come over here. So this is the surface entrance. You can see it says surface entrance. And that's where you get ground vehicles. Whereas flying ships, you go over and to this area. So it says over the thing here, hangars. Anywhere where you're looking and you want to fly a ship, look for hangars, and hangars will get your ships. Then you need to use what's known as a Aesop Terminal. They all look like this. They all have the same. They kind of have a similar design to them, whether they're screen that's straight up and down or looking down. But it's a vehicle retrieval console. Again, hold F, left click, and then you check your ships. Now, there's a bunch of ships I got here because of the fact that it is the PTU I'm currently in, so that's why I have so much money, and that's why I have a lot of different ships to fly. But we're going to start with a starter ship. Now, you're probably going to have an Origin 100i, that's my assumption. But if you have a new game, maybe you have the Aurora MR, which is a ship that I love. So we're going to choose that one. So I just chose it. Now it's going to say Hangar 3. Now if you ever forget, this is something that was finally added to the game, which I love, is that if you look around, you can see on the corner here, there's this little blue dot. So I'm going to kind of turn towards it, and there. So my ship is that way. It's 261 meters away, Hangar 3. So if I ever forget, I just got to look until I find that. But you take these elevators. So these ones here. So I'm going to go take this elevator, and I'm going to call it. It's currently at Hangar 2, and now it's telling me Hangar 3. So I'm going to go in here, and now I have Hangar 3 here, but if I don't see it, I can always mouse all the way down to find the hangars, because this goes up to Hangar 20. So you can use that. So we've moved, very quick flight, and there's our ship. So very easy to get to your ship. It used to be harder because I would forget where my hangar was, and I'd have to go back to the Aesop Terminal and look at it again, and then come back. But now that you can just look and see, now as I got closer, you notice it showed me, goes from telling me the name of the ship, so Aurora MR, and all of a sudden it says Hatch Hatch. And that's because they also added helping you find entrances to your ship. So the Aurora has two entrances. It's got a left and a right entrance. One here and one here. It's pretty cool. These are like docking collars. You'll be able to actually dock into another ship. Again, hold F. You can either open the door, you can open the ladder. So open door, the door is open. Open ladder, ladder comes out. But, actually I'll just close it and it'll do it on this side. Close door. Perfect. Both will happen. Close ladder. The better thing to do is just go enter ship. Enter ship, it all happens, and as long as you're standing close enough, you're in your ship. That's all you need to do. Now the Aurora is pretty cool because it's got a bed here. As you can see, holding F, looking here, I could lie down in this bed. Actually, I'll get in there. It's a bed logging out doesn't really work really well currently in the game, but eventually when it works, the Aurora is going to be a cool ship because you could log out in your bed here. So we're in this not really much of a space. Can't really see a lot. You can hit T, that turns on your headlamp. Think T for torch, so you can kind of look around. Turn that off right now. If the ship was powered up, it'd be a little bit brighter. If you remember how to get out of bed, tap Y, and we're on the roof. So there's definitely an issue. This is something to do with the 3.15 PTU, which is the playtest universe. So normally that does not happen, but there's a little bit of a bug currently, and so you're out of your bed and onto the roof. So we're gonna get back in. At least they fixed, we're used to get in one side and pop to the other side, so they fixed that in Aurora. So this is the ship. This is a pilot seat. Come up to the pilot seat, hold F, and you left click, and we're gonna climb on in. When you need to get out of the pilot seat, you can get out by holding Y. So if I tap Y, nothing happens. You could hold F and you can look around to where it says, like, where would it say? That's flight ready power, that's open exterior. There's got to be a way to get out. I'm not sure. But I just hold Y. Hold Y, and you climb out from your pilot seat and you get to the back of your ship. So very easy to get in and out of the ship. It's different for different ships. Some of them are a little bit faster to get in and out of. Some of them have cockpits. Some of them have interior spaces like this one. But we are now in our ship. Again, you can hold or tap F4 to get exterior and interior views, which will help you. If you use your mouse right now, your ship's going to move around. It's going to point up, point down. If you want to actually zoom around your ship, hold Z, and now you can like change the angle. So if you're trying to land straight down, you can always put it in this position to make sure you're okay on the hangars. If you're trying to get out and you want to make sure you have clearance this way, I always say start with your small ships. Start with the loaner you have if you're taking part in the free fly. If you have a starter pack and a small ship like a Mustang Aurora, start with that, practice flying. Don't try to fly the first time with a Carrack or a Reclaimer or an 890 jump. You're just going to have a hard time flying around. Start with your little ships. I'm holding Z and I'm just moving around and I can see what I'm doing. Tap F4 again, get back into here. Now with this, if I hold Z, that allows me to do this. Allows me to look around, kind of enjoy the view. But right now, I am facing forwards, and when I move this way or that way with my mouse, I'm actually steering the ship, but I'm not really steering it because nothing's happening. I could hold F and find power on, but the shortcut key that I always use is just hit R. Hitting R starts your ship. Now it says shields critical. That's because they've just started up. So in this screen here, I'm holding F and mouse wheeling forwards to kind of show you. So that's how I'm zooming in. We have a few things here. We have your screen, we have VTOL, coupled, ESP, and gear. ESP don't worry about right now. That's basically something to do with flight that it's going to get more complicated to get into all that. The main things you ever want to watch are gear and potentially coupled or VTOL. Coupled used to be something that you could turn on and off really easily, and that was always an issue, but even now I don't have to worry about it. What that means is when you're flying, you push forwards, you're flying forwards. You let go of the keys and let go of your like any of the flight controls, and your ship comes to a stop. With coupled, it just keeps coasting. So if you want to be able to turn and coast sideways and be firing at something from the side or not using so much fuel, you're going to uncouple, but I'll get into that in another video with more complex flight controls. But that one's not something to worry about. Basically, it's VTOL and gear. VTOL is K, so if your ship doesn't have this lit up and you need to use VTOL, or some ships have different modes like the Cutlass Black, K turns that on and off, and N is for gear. So these screens here are all customizable. You can always change them around. These are known as Mfds. So we have right now a communications one, we got our shields one. If you go to the top corner where it says menu, you can change it to weapons, comms, power, shields, target status. We got the heat signature, different ones here. I don't remember what one I had on. Was it weapons? No, we got 2 weapons, doesn't matter. I'm not really that concerned. Also, on this side we have our altitude, we have our weapons, so we have our Bulldog repeaters currently right now. We have hydrogen and quantum. So quantum fuel is your fuel for doing jumps, for jumping between long distances, and hydrogen is your fuel for navigation. So you have scoops on all your vehicles that will slowly refuel hydrogen, but if you're flying through atmosphere, you're going to run out of fuel. Eventually you're going to run out of fuel and not be able to fly. If you want to refuel your fuel, that's when you would use uncoupled and just coast. Or if you hit F1 and we go down to this thing here, vehicle maintenance, while we're sitting here on the pad, we could restock, refuel. We can choose any of those there and confirm. That's when you're sitting on a pad anywhere. So we want to take off, but if we look around, this door is closed and we're not able to go anywhere, but we're powered on. So what do? Well, you could click right here where it says the spaceport and click there. I find I always have more luck hitting F11, friends, spaceport, and just give it a wait, and it'll, there we go. So hit F1 again, and we look at, and these doors are opening, so we're now on our way. So if I hit F4 to kind of take a look, we can see they're working. So our ship is powered on, and we're going to take off. Now, I'm going to hold space, and space is up. And if I hold control, I go back down. Space up, control down. I'll show you from the outside. Control, space, control, space. Very easy. If I use my mouse, why is it not working? There we go, because I had Z. So if I use my mouse, I move. So if I hit F4 again, and you can see the little, this is what I love about this game. Look at those little blue thrusters just kind of like aiming the ship as you're moving around. That's really cool. So Q rolls, E rolls, strafe with D and A, and then W and S are forwards and backwards. Just like most games with like movement, that's very standard. And the mouse is your steering. So this mouse is how you're operating, unless you're holding Z, and then you can look around. So that's, you got to remember. And if I tap Z, it kind of locks that. So don't. If you can't move, if you're finding that you're unable to move, tap Z. You should be able to move. Now I'm going to hold W and I'm going to move forwards. I'm going to move out, just so I'm out of here. And here we are. This is the tram line that we were flying through, and there's the city. I'm going to hit F4 again just to show you that our landing gear is up. If I tap N, it folds in. And if I tap N again, it comes out. So I can close them in and out. And then if I look right here, if I tap N, you can see gear grays out. It's flashing, now it's gone. So if gear is grayed out, you cannot land. You can touch the ground, but you're not going to be able to land. So when you're coming in for a landing, always have make sure your gear is out. If you take a quantum jump, you're not going to be able to land until you put them out. They always automatically fold in. Something I also point out is this red box right here. So if I mouse wheel up, that box goes up. If I mouse wheel down, that box eventually turns blue and goes down this way. This is your maximum speed, but atmosphere will affect that. So I can crank this all the way up and try to fly full speed. But eventually, my ship's going to slow down. It's not going to be able to fly any faster. Right now, it looks like it's stopping at about 280 it's going to get to. The reason why is because of atmosphere. If I'm in space, I could hit my maximum speed. The red does not mean that I'm hurting my engines or that I'm pushing my engines too hard or anything like that. What that means is that I'm losing the ability to control quickly. So if you are flying at your maximum speed and you're trying to make a turn or you're trying to come to a complete stop quickly, your control is lessened when you're going faster. When you're first flying out of a spaceport or when you're first learning to fly, mouse wheel it down. If it's too slow, if it's all the way down, you're not really moving. Like this is full fours. But while holding that down, if I mouse wheel a little bit, I'd be able to move a bit faster. So that is the main control of your ship. So I'm going to move it about there. And now that's a good speed to learn how to fly. I'm holding W. I'm able to control my speed, flying around. I can kind of do a little bit of loops. Every once in a while, I can hit F4 and hold Z and kind of like take a look around on my ship, kind of see how things look. So this is the spaceport behind, and this is the city in the forwards here of the ice planet. And we're just flying around, having a good time. Go a little bit slow, go a little bit faster. And so we can be flying towards the city. Every once in a while, you'll hit like an armistice zone or restricted area. So you can see they're nearing restricted area because I'm flying into the city, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep flying and just practicing. Now, if you want to head to space, it's simple as just pointing up. You can see your bearings and your degrees of pitch. And I'm just going to mouse wheel up. And if we see our altitude here, it's currently at about 2,000 meters. We're climbing. I think we need to get to about 10 or 11 on this planet to be able to be in the space. Now, if you want to know if you're in space and you can jump or not, tap B. And look at all these red items that are all around. Those are jump points that you can jump to. I call them jump points. I shouldn't use that term because jump points will get you from one system to another and are not in game. But these are basically targets that you can jump to. So I'm going to keep going until we're at about 10,000, and some of those just start turning blue. So let's do that so you can kind of see. If I hit F4 right now, hold Z and back up, you can see there's the nicer view. There's the spaceport there, there's the trams, there's the city. It's starting to become brighter because it's starting to become daytime, so you're able to see more of the city. So you can see how massive this city is, and we were just in the that one tall building right in the center there. So I'm going to keep going up, see how we're going. We're at about 10,000. There we go. So you see some of those turn blue. And I've let go of the thrust, and I'm slowing back down. So those blue targets are things you could jump to. So some of them you can jump to because they're close. So that's OM-1. OM is orbital marker. So an orbital marker is is basically points around the planet. If you're trying to get around a planet fairly quickly, that's the place you can go. If you want to find a specific place to jump to, hit F2. Hit F2 opens up the star map here. You can mouse wheel in and out. You can rotate it using the left button. You can shift it around using the right button. So we are currently in Microtech, which is right up here. You can see the little blue triangle that's showing us where we are. And we can try to get to a different location, say one of the moons. I double clicked on Microtech, that gets me, kind of zooms it in. So let's go to one of the moons. We want to go to Calliope. So we are going to click it, and it's telling you about the moon here. We're going to set route, it becomes a solid line. And now we have only one orbital marker here, and that's this one here. Now if I tap B, that turns your drive off again. When you tap it again, it's going to come back on. And if we look at it, it's spooling up 70, 80, 90%. You also have to aim at what you're doing, and that's going to calibrate 60, 70, 80, 90%. So once it's calibrated, hold B. And we jump. And it's as easy as that. We are now in an orbital marker. The reason why I had to go to an orbital marker is because we had the planet between us and the moon. So if we look at over here, there's this little dot that's kind of showing you, and if you look down at your radar here, it's got like a line showing you. You want to aim towards what you want to go to. Now, I want to aim towards that moon. If I decide I don't want to go to that moon, I could hit F2, hit clear route, and that's going to take off that marker and put all of them. And I could just decide, oh, I want to go to CRU Lagrange point 5, or I want to go to Crusader, which is the gas giant. But it'll take a bit of time to get there. So this is 65,000 kilometers, and bear in mind that Crusader is 57 million. So it takes a lot longer, it takes a few minutes to fly to a place like Crusader, and you'll use more fuel. So you notice I've used some hydrogen right now. I've got some hydrogen gone, but I haven't used any quantum really, and it's not going to take much to get to this moon, so it's not really going to show up. Again, hold B, and this time it's going to take a bit longer to get there. You can see we are in jump, but you can see the moon. We're actually approaching it fairly fast. It will stop automatically. Don't worry about that. We're going to stop automatically, and here we are. We are now over the moon. Now I could choose one of these ground locations, say Shubin processing facility. I'm just going to go on there, hold B again. Your ship's going to automatically fly around the surface of the moon and get closer to Shubin. So we'll wait one moment while that happens. And then once we slow down, we can fly to the processing facility. So you always start, when you fly like this, upside down. So I always like to hit Q or E and rotate. Now I use the jump drive, even though I'm too close, I use it to see how far away I am. You can turn it on and off with B as usual, but I like to see how close I am, and don't forget how fast you're going. So you want to make that down a bit when you are getting too close, so that you're able to be slower and control your speed. But right now I'm going to go fast because I'm 15 kilometers away. Also, remember what I said, every time you jump, your landing gear goes up. So I'm going to tap N, put my landing gear down. Now it might be kind of dark here, so I'm also going to hit L. And L puts your ship lights on, which will make it easier to see when you're taking off and landing. So I'm now about 9,000 meters away. I'm going to slowly go down. Now this is a small ship. It stops quickly. If I was flying something like a Starlifter, it's definitely going to take a lot longer in order to slow down and stop. But little ships like this stop and accelerate very quickly. Now we notice some things pop up here. All these rocks popped up. These are all things you can mine in game. However, they're things that we can't mine with this ship, but they popped up on a radar. If you want to use your radar to scan for items, tap tab, and that sets out a ping that allows you to scan. So this little box here that showed up, that's showing me that there's something else there, more rocks over there. So if you were mining in a prospector, these are what you're looking for, all these rocks here. So I'm going to fly towards them for a second. And once we get a bit closer, I'm going to hit V and V turns into scanning mode. I'm going to mouse wheel to make it a bit closer, and I'm going to try to scan one of these rocks. So here we are. Oh, somebody has radar locked on me. That's interesting. So I'm not able to scan these rocks for some reason. Oh, someone is shooting at me. Well, that's not very nice. Well, let's fly away. I'm in an Aurora and I wasn't really looking to fight, but interesting. Anyways, so I'm going to tap B, and we're going to have to fly out of the atmosphere before I can jump. So that is how you fly to a moon. You will arrive at the moon and you'll be able to explore the different locations there. So feel free to kind of explore around. Any of these locations you can just land at. You don't need to request a landing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to request a landing. This works both at spaceports as well as actual planets. But we're just going to go to the spaceport. So we're going to go to the spaceport that is over Microtech. So I'm going to jump towards Microtech, and while we're doing that, hit F2 again, double click on Microtech, scroll in, and we have Port Tressler here. Going to select that, select the route. We're now heading towards Port Tressler. So Port Tressler is the spaceport that is above New Babbage. So you can also go to any of the places, like if I look at the CRU L5, HUR L4, all these Lagrange points, all have different stations. Some have mining facilities, some have refineries, some have just rest and relax. But we're going to head towards Port Tressler. Now, Port Tressler is on the other side of the planet, and I cannot get to it. This is an issue you may have quite often. So what you should do is clear route, and if I try to set it again, we'll see if that changes it. And it has. It's given me now the orbital marker. And so, orbital marker first, which will get me around the planet. And then, again, remember, you hit B in order to jump, and now we're going to find Port Tressler. So we aim at it, and not hit B, so we hold B. So we're going to hold B, and we're going to Port Tressler. So, out of force of habit, hit N when you're coming into land. So you never forget to put your landing gear down. You've hit N, and now I've hit L to turn my lights on, which isn't super necessary on a spaceport, but it is here. I haven't turned off my jump drive yet, so that I can work on my flight. So I haven't turned off my my jump drive, so I can see how far I am. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm gonna mouse up to get a bit closer, but I'm not gonna aim directly at the station. I'm aiming at this empty space in the center. It's hard to see the station right now. Because it's so dark out. But I'm aiming for one of those empty spaces. And the reason why I was aiming for the empty area is in case you're going too fast, you're not going to hit the building. So now that I can see it, I'm going to tap B to turn off my jump drive. I'm still flying towards the station, and eventually I'll be close enough to request a landing. So there you go. It says at the top of the screen, please contact ATC to land. Now I could use my I'm going to mouse wheel down, first of all, so I'm not going so fast. I could use my MFD, my multifunction display, but I'm going to hit F11 again, friends, and now Port Tressler. And I'm requesting a landing from them. So I'm just waiting until... Please proceed to assign landing. There you go. They've assigned me a landing. Hit F1 to close this. And now we're looking for a symbol. And there it is. The symbol looks like a circle with an arrow, like a chevron pointing down. That's where we're landing. So we're going to fly towards that. If you're moving too slow, mouse wheel up a bit, but you don't have to go super fast. You got a bit of time. And if it ever says that you took too long, or if you have hangar doors that have opened and closed on you, then just request another landing and you can land again. So I'm just kind of controlling myself with my WASD, E, and Q keys, and we're heading towards the landing area. Now we are currently underneath it, and I can tell that because we don't see the landing area. So I'm going to fly all the way through this, and I'm just going to rotate my ship. And there's what we're looking for. These glowing lines, that shows your landing area. So fly towards it, and you could hit control and go down and land in the area. If you need help, push F4 to make sure you're in a good spot. You can use Z to kind of check. But if you're new, a lot of places have an auto land feature. So as long as you're close, hold N. Holding N, now my hands are off the keyboard, and I'm landing. If you're aiming a little left or right, it'll straighten you out. It'll bring you down to a perfect landing. So the auto land is holding N. If you accidentally tap N, you'll raise your landing gear, so just bring it back down. So there we are. We have now landed at Port Tressler. You've basically made your first flight. You've flown around a bit. You've gotten a kind of a handle on it. Now, if I hit F1 and then I go to Vehicle Maintenance Services, I can refuel hydrogen and quantum if I want. I can repair my ship from the wear and tear, and then you hit confirm. So let's get some more hydrogen. Confirm. And now if we watch here, you can hear it kind of being pumped in, and eventually this will fill up. So I don't know why it's not right now. It should. Maybe something has gone. This is the PTU. There's still a few little bugs. As you remember, I popped on the top of the ship. So we are currently sitting on the station. Now, you have to move. You don't have to be super quick. I'm holding Y, and we're going to get out of the ship. Oh, maybe this is why it's not working. Okay, elevators are working. 30K, 30K. That is what happened. The game is crashing. That's why I'm not getting any hydrogen. That's why I can't get out of my ship. So we're going to come for another landing at the port here, and I'll talk a bit about what to do at a port. So 30Ks are game crashes. Hopefully not too many of them experienced during the game. But as it stands right now, it's looking like there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to continue in here. There we go. So I'm leaving this in so that you can kind of see what happens. The game will crash. Expect that to happen, partly because it's an alpha, partly because I'm assuming you will be playing just as this new patch has come out, and with that you're having issues with just changes they've made. Every patch starts with bugginess and becomes more stable. However, one awesome thing, to get back in the game, you're just going to hit Persistent Universe, and then you're going to enter Star Citizen Universe. You're going to start again. An awesome thing that they have fixed in this game is before a 30K used to mean the end of whatever you're doing. Like if you're traveling with cargo from one place to another, it would just disappear. It would be gone, and that is no longer the case. They've actually fixed that, making cargo trading and making money that way much more profitable and a lot less of a risk. So that is a huge, awesome change they've made to the game. But expect some 30Ks to happen. Now, if you enter Star Citizen and it's not working, you're gonna just have to go back, quit the game, restart. Sometimes 30Ks kind of mess it up where it's not letting you start the game, but expect that to happen a few times. But it's not happening as much as it was when this PTU first started. Again, I'm in the test universe, so I'm actually not in the persistent universe. I'm in the test version of the game, and hopefully by the time it's released, it's a lot more stable. So they're working on stability, but 30Ks happen every once in a while, but they're not nearly as bad as they used to be, and they don't affect your character nearly as bad as they used to be. I'll reload the game, and I'll show you how after 30K you start where you last were. So we're going to actually start at this Port Tressler at the station.